something that we need to talk about is rehabilitating reactive dogs, and the seemingly quite popular, certainly what I'm coming across, the non-use of other dogs in that training or rehabilitation. Now, to me, it stands to good reason that if your dog is reactive and you take them to training or behaviour modification would be more appropriate in order to try and stop this from happening. There needs to be other dogs involved in that equation. The behaviourist should want to see the dog react so that they can assess why it's happening. Is it fear driven? Is it dominance driven? Is it just outright aggression? And then you deal with whatever that issue is according to what the cause is. That just stands to good reason and makes complete common sense to me. Unfortunately though, what I'm seeing a lot is people are coming to me having been and made previous attempts to stop the reactivity, and they've done multiple, sometimes 8, 9, 10 sessions in a sterile paddock with no distractions, and the focus has been on look at me drills, focus drills, get the dog's attention on you. The problem is that the owner then goes away, and that is great. Focus on me, look at me drills, things like that. Absolutely important, 100%. But they're not going to stop the dog from reacting, because no matter what food or toy or whatever you've got to get the dog's focus back on you, when they see another dog, a member of their own species, they've got a sometimes deep-rooted behavioural issue, they're going to kick off. They're not going to be interested in what you've got. If you're going through training or behaviour modification and there's been no other dogs involved in it, I would suggest that you first of all ask whoever is doing this for you, can we introduce some other dogs? If they're dog trainers, it stands to good reason that they've probably got their own dogs and they're probably exemplary behaved, so they would be a good dog for your dog to interact with, surely. You have to expose the dog to the problem in order to rectify the problem. And as I said, depending on what the issue is and what's causing it, you then need dogs. Can you see that? Queen of the castle. Here comes the king. Come on. Sorry about that. Anyway, before I was rudely interrupted by Sonny and Sasha on the natural climbing frame, you have to expose the dogs to what the problem is. And then depending on the reason behind it, you either have to go in with an approach of showing them that that's nothing to be frightened of. You're not frightened, you're the good leader. Remember, we use that a lot. You're not worried, they're not worried. Any problem that's going to arise, I'll deal with it. You don't have to. If we're looking at more dominant or aggressive behaviour, then we may go down the route of showing the dog that we don't like that behaviour. That is not acceptable. They are not to do it anymore. We don't like it, and there's a consequence to it. And I always feel like I have to put this caveat in when I talk about consequences. I'm not talking about physically hurting your dog or anything like that. And it's a real shame that as a balance trainer, I always feel like I have to put that in. I don't think people are naive or silly enough to think that that's something that I would be advocating. We absolutely do not do that. But there has to be consequences sometimes. So in a nutshell, if you have a reactive dog, it needs to be exposed to other dogs. Otherwise you're not going to sort this problem out. You'll find with the correct person using the correct dogs, depending on the situation, as their stooge dogs, you will find that in a lot of cases you can sort this out very quickly. Thanks for watching. It's a lovely day. Make sure you get your dogs out. Speak to you soon.